Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl in your face when you are sleeping. The forest of Chernobyl is home to some of the most terrifying animals. From scariest to creepiest, there are creatures roaming with bizarre mutations and noxious diseases. Let's see some of the most shocking creatures discovered in Chernobyl. Deer with swollen jaw. The video shows a deer with a buildup of partially chewed forage caught in the pocket of the cheek and in the space between the deer's tongue. Strangely enough, this condition is caused by an internal parasitic worm known as a food impactation or a lumpy jaw. In white-tailed deer, lumpy jaws are quite common due to the presence of one or a combination of different anaerobic bacteria species. One of the weirdest sights, while the disease can ward off its own, sometimes it can cause much bigger problems for the poor deer. Three-legged tiger. Meet May, the three-legged beauty from Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium, dragging herself along the floor in order to move. However, besides one of her legs missing, May was induced with other diseases like dementia owing to her health. May had 3 cubs and belonged to one of the most impressive species of Malin tigers. Snake with 4 legs. A lizard with a very long tail, or a snake with 2 pairs of legs. While both sound pretty impossible, the video shows a long reptile moving on its legs. According to research, back in the day, snakes used to have 4 legs, but having one in the modern era is simply mysterious. Well, the entire internet argues on the discovery of this bizarre reptile mutant. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you people think of it? Deer with CWD. This heart-wrenching clip shows a deer standing in cold while suffering from agonizing pain as its body progressively loses health, shape, and sanity. It not only is under the influence of chronic wasting disease, which is mainly caused by a misfolded protein called prion, but is also enduring the pain of fresh wounds. Well, did you see its lower lip falling off from the jaws? Looks like while taking advantage of the deer's poor health, some animal might have tried to knock it down. Luckily, this brave fella, defying all the odds, is now waiting for the pain to come to an end. Bear with tapeworm. Dragging with what appears to be at least 6 feet of tapeworm, the disturbing footage shows this giant Alaskan bear as it vigorously rubs its back against a tree to unsuccessfully dislodge the parasite. But how did they get there? Well, tapeworms' eggs are in Alaskan rivers, where they get eaten by crustaceans, which are eaten by salmon. And we all know who loves salmon more than anything, hence they end up getting lodged to the bear's digestive tract. But since a tapeworm living inside a bear needs it more than the bear needs the worm, it reaches the length of 30 feet or more while making the animal lethargic, anemic, skinny, or much worse. Reindeer with antler wart. Never before seen, when this lady called a veterinarian, he was shocked to see this reindeer with incredibly huge antler warts growing upon its head while disturbing its vision. With bulging huge growths, the reindeer looked fine, except that the handsome guy was having trouble at the line of vision. Hence, Dr. Terry, after tying the animal to the tree, decided to carefully cut warts blocking its eyes. And it appears his expertise finally paid off when the poor reindeer seemed quite happy to see the world once again without any obstacle. Squirrel having seizure. Trembling with pain, a poor squirrel was spotted just in time with all of its body vibrating in an unusual manner. The man picked the little one up and patted it a bit to ease the pain while putting the animal on a tissue paper. It seemed that this tiny animal was going through some sort of heart attack. Hence, the man came up with a sugar water mixture and started to feed the squirrel, which surprisingly worked as it appreciated the gesture by engulfing a few sips of it. But since it was too weak to join the wild, he kept the animal for a night in the cage, feeding it some fruit before releasing it the next morning. Zombie moose. With its head tilted towards the right, the poor guy circles around the same area back and forth in the most disturbing way. Well, it's absolutely not some sort of playful mood, because it turns out the unfortunate beast is suffering from a vicious parasitic disease called the brain worm, wherein the brain opts for the animal's neurological system, causing them to act unusually or perhaps more aggressive. The worms are typically known to get transferred through white-tailed deer, whom they don't cause any harm, but for moose, the worm gets quite lethal, owing the animal its life. Frog with extra limb. The video shows this frog with an extra pair of limbs, but surprisingly, these legs had no significant effect on the survival of the frogs, with the major culprit behind this bizarre deformity being a parasitic worm called the trematode parasite. The cycle goes on like this. The worm eggs are disposed of in ponds by larger birds, where snails appear to enjoy these tasty treats while hatching eggs inside the water. Later, these eggs become food to the feeding frenzy of tadpoles, hence getting themselves infested with vicious parasites. Monkeys with deformed hands. When it comes to bananas, monkeys just know how to have it, defying all the odds. Speaking of which, take a look at this baby monkey from India, who, apart from having severe hand deformity, happens to do just fine. The video features it grabbing the fruit while peeling it off through its mouth and enjoying the whole thing as if nothing's wrong. Where this deformity could be by birth or caused afterwards, this little guy seemed unaware of it as it carries on with the banana. Muscle-mutated pig. The stuff of nightmares. Meet these Hulk-like pigs with muscular bodies. The shocking footage reveals mutant double-muscled pigs being bred by a farmer in Cambodia. These terrifying creatures are basically the result of genetic breeding, where some supersized animals are enormous in size, while others are barely able to walk because of their heavy muscles. According to the farmers, these genetically engineered freaks require special attention since they are prone to developing more health issues than the regular ones. Rabid fox. Caught by the neighborhood watch member in Forsyth County in Georgia, the clip shows this wild fox acting in quite an unusual way. Not only it seemed aggressive, but hauling excessively while acting disoriented. Well, as terrifying as it looks, the poor animal is suffering from rabies, a kind of virus that infects the central nervous system of mammals, ultimately causing disease in the brain, followed by a painful doom. Not just that, the virus is highly transmissible to humans, and if a rabid animal happens to bite you, consider yourself to be doomed too. And now let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows? We might even feature it in one of our videos. Today's subscriber pick is a picture of this poor deer covered in huge black growths all over its body. Well, if nature decides to make animals suffer, nobody can do much. Speaking of which, the deer seen in the video is actually covered in a labyrinth of warts, otherwise referred to as cutaneous fibromas or tumors. There are huge cyst-like growths appearing on the outer skin of the deer who got themselves infested with a vicious virus called papillomavirus. Also, these unpleasant-looking growths are capable of growing from half to 8 inches long in diameter. They are absolutely non-transmissible to humans. Radioactive spiders. After the trees started to grow back in Chernobyl, scientists have discovered spiders with some sort of special web-weaving abilities. These radioactive spiders, induced with nuclear waste, crawl around the surroundings of a damaged nuclear reactor in the Ukraine. But compared to healthy spiders, the radioactive ones seem to weave erratic patterns of web, distorted, deformed, and disfigured, as if they are under influence of some drugs. Definitely a sign of genetic mutation, which is indeed affecting their health. Rarest dogs. Rattled in astonishing patterns of black, gold, or white, the dogs of Chernobyl are thin with brindle fur and yellow eyes. There are approximately 300 stray dogs in the 2,600-kilometer zone where they live among moose and lynx. But life is not easy for Chernobyl strays. The poor dogs not only have to endure harsh Ukrainian winters, but they often carry increased levels of radiation in their fur, resulting in a shortened life expectancy, with few of them living only till the age of 6. See you next time!